So we've got Thorchain, we've got Chainlink, and now we can add Vehchain to the list. What's the list, you might ask? Well, it's the list of awesome cryptos that have great fundamentals, but unfortunately the chart is sort of telling me a bit of a different story here. And you know my channel is all about honesty. I'm not just going to pump every coin to the moon saying that you're going to be millionaires by the end of the month. I have to be honest in my takes here, and that's one of the reasons why I started this YouTube channel, was just to give good information out there. It's not financial advice, but it's just my own take on things. So as usual with all of my videos, we'll go through the basic fundamentals of what Vehchain is, just to wrap our heads around it. We'll compare it to its Ethereum value in two different metrics. We'll also compare it, of course, to its USD value, and I'll give you some price predictions and what I expect to come from Vehchain on the charts. If you're new here, welcome. I'm the Crypto Diet. I'm currently doing my Masters in Economics at Monash University. I'm also working here in Australia in the banking and finance industry. And like I said earlier, it is my goal with this channel to do every single video I do talking about each individual crypto one by one with honesty, fairness, and unbiasedness. This, again, isn't a channel talking about every single coin is going to make you millions of dollars by the end of the month. So what is Vehchain? Well, basically, to dumb it down, it's basically an awesome tracking device. Now you might say, well, why would we want a tracking device? Well, there's actually some important things that you'd want to track, such as food. You might want to see where your foods come from. In the Vehchain white paper, they actually use this as an example, showing that basically there's a lot of food contamination around the world. A lot of infants and elderly people get food poisoning in factories that these are being made in, and you're able to put a tracking device on there or a QR code on there for you to be able to scan and check out. And you can actually see so much information just with this. You can see the temperature it was delivered at. You can see where it was made. You can see all of the logistics from top to bottom on it in a very quick way. And it doesn't just stop with food. This can go all over the world. This can go with medicine, cars, jewelry, anything that you want to track that is worth millions and billions of dollars. You will want to keep a tracking on it just to make sure it's going from point A to point B in a secured way. And when it's gotten to that point, you can actually go and check the backlog of where it went and how it got to it. That's basically what Vehchain is. Now, there's a lot of companies who love Vehchain. BMW is one of them who use it. PwC is one of the people who use it there, and some other companies out there who use Vehchain's network on a day-to-day basis, which is quite remarkable seeing as how crypto is still pretty early on, but we already have multi-billion dollar corporations using it, which I quite like to see. Of course, you can't talk about Vehchain without talking about Vethor, which is basically another token that can be used on the Vehchain ecosystem, but it's only used for transaction fees. And the reason for this was just to reduce volatility. So if Vehchain's price went up or down, you didn't get hit hard with the transaction fees that would be subsequent to that, which I think is a fantastic idea to do, because as we're already seeing with Ethereum, the gas fees are so high. Ethereum could definitely use some sort of tokenomics like this. So who is the CEO, or who is the person who came up with the idea of Vehchain? Well, it's actually none less than Sunny Lu here. He's the one who actually came up with Vehchain, and you can see his background came from Louis Vuitton in China. He was the chief investment officer there as well, and director, some pretty high positions there. So he has an idea of what some of the struggles that big companies face with this sort of logistics that they may face, such as counterfeits, poor constructions, poor factories, some things that you just want to know about a product, about its logistics. But like I said, this is more company uses more so than everyday people. And that might be the reason why that's the reason for Vehchain's tokens to be at a low volume. But we'll come to that in a little bit. What about the tokenomics of Vehchain? Well, according to Live Coin Watch, it is ranked number 37. It has a current circulating supply of 66.76 billion, total supply of almost 86 billion, with a max supply of 86.713 billion. So it's almost hit its total supply, its max supply. Now let's have a look at Vehchain's value against Ethereum. So again, you know my channel, every video you will see this, Coincodex. I go on this website, I compare all the coins to Ethereum value. There's Vehchain, ranked number 37. Now I compare all of these to Ethereum. So green means it's outperforming Ethereum, red means it's underperforming against Ethereum. 1 year, it's outperformed Ethereum by 18%. Year to date, down 7.47% compared to Ethereum. So that's tracking from the 1st of January, 2022. 6 months, it's actually got hit pretty hard by Ethereum. It's underperformed to Ethereum by 38% almost. 3 months down compared to Ethereum by almost 40%. 1 month down compared to Ethereum, almost 14.5%. 7 days outperformed Ethereum by 3 days. 24 hours to outperformed Ethereum by 7%. So I really do not like these numbers a lot. These are numbers that you really don't want to see not be as red. You really want to see your coin outperforming Ethereum, because what do I say in all of my videos? You can just buy Ethereum, hodl it, get a better return, and reduce your risk substantially. A lot of people want to enjoy your coins because it's fundamentals, it's going to change the world, yada, yada, yada. Awesome if you're thinking like that, and if you want to support a project, more power to you. But for me, I'm in it to make money and to increase my financial position moving into the future, because house prices in Australia are ridiculous. It's like $1 million for a house, just an average house. So I'm looking for investment returns to help gain more financial stability in my life. So I look at these numbers, what do I say? I would rather hold Ethereum, but it's just my initial screening. Let's open up the charts, let's dig our teeth into it, and let's have a look at what the charts tell us. So here we are, we have Vechain against its USD value. Now, some things I don't like immediately. The white half, you really want your cryptos to spend a lot of the time in the white half of this Fibonacci retracement tool. Our great Michael Pizzino, who I learned a lot from, this is the tool he uses, and I found it to be quite powerful in my own analysis as well. So what does it tell us? Well, you want to be strong in the 50% part. Now, we did have a good 3-4 months where we went from basically start of August up until late November, where cryptos were actually doing not too bad. The problem is that already I can see Vechain did not spend a long time in its white area at all. Red flag number one. Red flag number two that I really do not like to see is the low that we put in on the 20th of July, which was there at around 5.5 cents. You can see we actually broke below the low that we put in on the 20th of July. I can't tell you how bad that is, guys, because most cryptos actually found support around here. Most cryptos are bad, but most cryptos found support around that low that they put in at the end of July. The bad, very, very bad cryptos dip below it, and that's exactly what happened to Vechain. Vechain had to fall below it. Good news is it did find support on its 50% extension tool here. That is around 4.4 cents. And you can see how good the extension tool is, bouncing off it pretty much perfectly every time. Found a bit of resistance going on to the 382 mark, pushed above it, was able to find some support on it. So it feels like we might finally be gaining some momentum with Vechain. But this is the story of Vechain. And this is why I say always compare your cryptocurrencies with other cryptos, because other cryptos are doing really, really well at the moment. Some cryptos have gone up 20%, 15%, 10% in a day. Vechain has yet to do that. Now, it's not to say, it's always going to be like this. Tomorrow, someone can just scoop a lot of Vechain up and shoot the price up to 30%. We don't know with these things, but the volume looks like it's drying up. You can see that your volume was good on the 4th of February, drying up on the 5th, 6th, and 7th, and the price is still going up. So a little bit of red flags there. That would be the third red flag that I don't like. Good thing though, we broke our trend, came through, finding support again on the 382 mark, but I really want to see Vechain come through with some nice volume and start going at least up to the 236 mark right there at around 7 cents, and ideally go back to its 50% mark at around the 12-cent mark. The problem I have with Vechain, and this is the way you just have to think about your cryptos, is there's just stronger cryptos out there. There are more stronger ones out there that just look better. But if you want to look at Vechain, in my opinion, again, not financial advice, is a short-term trade. So if you're able to find a good short-term trade, maybe you want to go on the 4-hour chart, have a look at things. You might be able to identify that the volume's increasing now at the moment. Again, found support. Maybe you'll want to wait for it to hit support again, scoop some up, put a stop loss, put some price predictions, and enjoy a nice 20-30% in a day if you're fortunate enough. But most people who I think are into crypto, we hold long-term because we know that crypto is going to go up, or we have some sort of long-term hodl portfolio, or if you're a trader, you're probably not watching my videos, you're already doing fantastic as we speak. So just identify which kind of investor you are. Are you a long-term one or a short-term one? If you're a long-term one, I would not be buying Vechain. If you're a short-term one, I still wouldn't be looking at Vechain, but your analytics or your own entries may have a different criteria than I do. Now let's compare to Vechain against its Ethereum value, and then we'll go for some price predictions. And you can already see I was playing around with this chart, trying to get it ready for the video. And I mean, hopefully you guys can see this and be unbiased when you see this, because this is the way you just have to look at a chart. You have to see that this is just a Vechain against its Ethereum, just a complete utter train wreck downtrend. Huge downtrend. The all-time high was on the 18th of April. And you can see this is another thing you have to think about. How much emotions you'd be going through at the start of April in 2021. You'd be thinking, oh my God, Vechain's gone to the moon, Vechain's gone to the moon. And you would have had about 2 weeks to sell Vechain, and you would have had to time it perfectly. So you want to have a bit of a margin for error and telling yourself, how long do I have to sell my cryptos? If your cryptos are going up very high in one day and down very much the other day, you have to time your orders very, very well, or you have to put your order in ready to go. Most people aren't going to do that. You need opportunities to be able to sell. Vechain didn't have it since April, meaning that if you bought in April, you have a enormous task ahead of you, because your coin has to go up 600% to Ethereum, while Ethereum just flatlines, and then you're better off buying Vechain over Ethereum. That's if you bought this at the peak on the 19th of April. And like I said, you can see downtrend completely getting hit. Good news is the low that we put in on the 5th of February 2021, again, it does look like we finally found support on that mark, and you can see my Fib extension tool, when I zoom right back into it, you can see that we found some support around the 236 mark, and you can see that we're just sort of bouncing off it now, popping our head right as we speak onto it. So time will tell if this is actually a good sign for Vechain compared to its Ethereum value. But like I said, I mean, you really have to play this one quite close to the chest because it's just, there's not much room for error at all with these coins, and just a downtrend, and you just have to look at that and be honest with yourself. Now let's go to Vechain and do some price predictions and see how Vechain would look onto it. Now we did hit 30 on the RSI a few times, bouncing off it finally, so that would give Vechain to about 4 cents, but we're on our way to probably 70 on the RSI. I'd be surprised if this coin doesn't hit 70 on the RSI, because it really does look like it's due for a run. Now 70 in the RSI would take Vechain to a 24% increase from where it currently is at 8 cents. If we 80 on the RSI, that would take Vechain to 11 cents, and that is a 72.81% increase from where it currently is. And we actually did hit 80 on the RSI on the 15th of August as well. So theoretically, Vechain can actually hit that number, which I quite like. And if we hit 90 on the RSI, that's if we get a big blow off top, or Vechain just absolutely goes crazy, that's 183% increase from where it currently is at 18 cents. And that is pretty close to the high that it put in on the 8th of November. But another thing I don't like is you can see the all-time highs it was doing very, very well in the first half of the bull cycle in April, wasn't able to get there, and the second half of the bull cycle, which was at the end of 2021. You don't like that. You want to see your coin always trying for new all-time highs. It's a very nice sign when they're pushing for all-time highs. When a coin can't get to all-time highs, it makes it look weak. Not enough people buying it to really pump it up. Look at these green bars, not many of them. So you start to see the volume start to dry off. And this is at the course since basically April, going all the way to 2022. Volume just basically drying up completely. So in my honest opinion, I never want to see a project fail. I would be staying away from Vechain 100% unless you're a short-term trader and you really know what you're doing. But that's just my honest thoughts. If you enjoyed that at all, give this channel a like and subscribe. And until then, I will see you on the next video.